Hello, everyone. My name is Laurel Donnellan, and I am the founder of Bright Livelihoods. Our motto is Live Your Genius, and today's talk is called The 4 Keys to Career Mastery. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that we can interact today through the chat box on the bottom of your screen. You can put questions there or ask me questions about anything. It could be about, I'm going to stop the recording. Hello everyone, my name is Laurel Donnellan and I am the founder and Chief Creative Officer at Bright Livelihoods and Careers Inside Out. I'm really happy to be with you today to talk about career mastery. So thank you for spending a few minutes this afternoon with me. Today we're going to explore our method that is a 12-part process that helps people assess their current lives and create their future so that you can do a really great job at career planning your next chapter. I'm going to talk about the 4 keys to career mastery to really loving your work, help you develop a personal action plan that takes this knowledge and puts it into action for you. And I am happy to take your questions throughout the webinar, or you can just ask me questions at the end, or set up an appointment with me if that's preferable. Who are we? Bright Livelihoods is a company with a purpose, and our purpose is to transform dreamers into doers so they use their authentic talents for the betterment of themselves, their families, and humanity. So it's really helping you identify what we call your soul work and putting that into action. This is our 12-part process that help you navigate through a transition between where you are now with your job or career and where you want to get to. It has 3 parts. The first part is about the past and being present. The second is about the present, being present and being yourself, and the third is about taking that being yourself and putting it into the future so you can be your best. In the first part of the process, there are 4 principles and practices that I'll review briefly with you here. The first is courage and being a visionary. It's about stepping up to the plate and dreaming as if you were a youngster thinking about what you wanted to be when you grew up. And taking that on and taking your own vision seriously. The second piece is around faith and figuring out what is meaningful for you there. For some people, faith is about religion, and for other people, it's about nature. So we don't profess any type of faith in our program, but we do take your ideas of faith seriously and help you leverage those things so that you can connect to your soul. The third piece is awareness. It's understanding your past and leaving those things behind that no longer serve you and taking those things from your past that do serve you and bringing those into the future. The fourth principle is truth. And truth is about really digging deep into what you believe in and taking those beliefs forward that are empowering, and again, leaving those things behind that challenge you, challenging limiting beliefs that may no longer serve you. Then we move into the present, being yourself. And this is really our model for looking at your life and work through 4 lenses. The first lens is balance and paying attention to your health. It's hard to love what you do if you're hurting your body from it, or you're creating stress levels that aren't conducive to productivity, imagination, and creativity. So taking care of your instrument, your body, through an emotional, idea, intellectual, physical, and spiritual. So practicing paying attention to your health in those 4 ways. The next principle is about relationships. It's really hard to love your work if you don't enjoy the people you work with, or if your work is getting in the way of having great relationships at home. So love is about honoring all relationships and making sure that on and off the job you have clear and wonderful relationships that are going to grow. Abundance is understanding your habits around money, both mental habits and physical habits. Understanding what type of lifestyle you want to have and what you need to support your family is really critical in deciding what type of work you want to have. The last principle in this section is authenticity, and it really is the core of what we do here at Bright Livelihoods. Authenticity is about finding and developing passions. So for some of our clients, they know their passions, and they often are sometimes denying themselves of those passions. And for our other clients, it's really about discovering those things that used to excite them and maybe some new things that will excite them in the future. We explore 4 different types of passions. The first is curiosities. What are you interested in? What disciplines do you want to study? What ignites your curiosity? The second is skills and talents. So skills are those things that you do well, but talents are more important. Talents are those things that when you do them, you get energy back from them. So think about talents as those things that really ignite you and have good energy for you. And maybe when you're doing those things, you lose track of time. Again, some of our clients know what their talents are. Others have to figure out what they are. The third piece is style. So that's things beyond talents and interests that you need to bring to work. So maybe it's, for example, your sense of humor or your sense of style. So other things that relate to style. And the last piece is environment. What do you need to have at work that you need to have there already? Perhaps it's lots of technology and lots of innovation. Perhaps you need solitude. Other people might need inspiring leadership. Some people like to work out of their cars. Other people like a fancy office. So what kind of environment are you going to thrive in? And that brings us to the future being your best. So there's 4 parts here. The first is creativity, exploring all your options. I think sometimes it can be overwhelming to explore your options. So sometimes people just stay in their comfort zone, which is not really helpful because there's lots of opportunities out there. So creativity is playing with all the possibilities. Integrity is identifying and clarifying purpose. Vision is really galvanizing what you want to see in your future. And then commitment is where the rubber meets the road, and that is putting the plan together. So that is the 12-part process of what all of our programs are based on. And now we're going to get into the 4 keys of career mastery. So career mastery is really having knowledge and skill around managing your own career, but it's also you being in control of your career. It's those 2 things. We like to refer to both definitions of mastery. And the first key is defining your soul work. You can't be a master unless you really know what your dream is. And we call the dream job soul work. And we define soul work as the absolute best use of passions and purpose. So I've talked about passions. Purpose is the why. Like, why are you working? Are you working for creative expression, for money, for security for your family? All those things are valid, and only you can know what is driving you and what your big why is under work. So understanding your passions, understanding your purpose, putting those 2 things together creates soul work. Now, bridge work, which is underneath the umbrella of remarkable work, is work that allows you to get to your soul work. So once you define what your soul work is, you can make a plan to support yourself to get there. Perhaps you want to be a veterinarian, and going to school is going to be your bridge work, and perhaps having a job outside of that to support you financially would also be bridge work. But it's all for the aim of getting to soul work. Unremarkable work is work that is not sustainable, and we'll talk about that in a moment. And that might be really draining you of energy. So that's key number 1, define your soul work. Key number 2 is working towards emotional and economical balance. So if you look at quadrant 2, that gives us high emotional and high economic sustainability, and that's where remarkable work resides, and that's the goal. Some of our clients fall into quadrant 1, so that is high on the emotional sustainability, so it might be work that they really love, but it doesn't support them economically. Other clients have work, and maybe this is you, that is both challenging emotionally and economically, so it's not paying you as much as you're worth or enough for you to live. It's also just not emotionally satisfying. A lot of our clients fall into quadrant 4 where they're making a good living, but the satisfaction level has really diminished, and that's when they know they need to make a change. So you can all decide on your own where you fall in those 4 quadrants and think about how you can work towards more emotional and economical balance. The third key is reducing anxiety. So I've been reading a lot and thinking a lot about this idea of career anxiety. We have a lot of it, and it seems to be increasing because of the global economy, because of us changing jobs often, because all of us want more autonomy. It takes a lot of work to find jobs if your company's been taken over. So there's a lot of anxiety around there, and because things are changing so fast, people are unsure of the future. So lowering the anxiety is really important so that you can make decisions more clearly and from a stronger place. So taking care of basics, meaning your physical and mental health, making sure you're getting enough sleep, enough water, enough exercise, enough nutrition. Talking to someone is really critical, whether it's a coach or a good friend or a therapist or a pastor. Not being alone in your anxiety is important. Managing your energy at work, so making sure you're not underperforming, because that's not going to be good for your self-esteem or your resume or your references. Make sure, too, that you're not overperforming out of fear and leaving all the energy at work. Do anything that increases your confidence, so it might be something athletic, it might be spending more time with your dog, it might be spending more time with your children, being with friends, doing something that's challenging, anything that is going to raise your confidence. And then, like I mentioned earlier, leaving time to dream and being a visionary and understanding that. So the third key is reducing anxiety. The fourth key is what we call the 3 R's, practicing the 3 R's of Bright Livelihoods. And that's a process that includes reflecting and really thinking deeply. And for some of you, it might be meditating. For others of you, it might be fishing. Whatever slows down your mind and allows you to reflect. Some people like to journal. Number 2 is really understanding all your choices by researching. So researching can look like networking, being online, making phone calls to old friends. If you're interested in having your own business, perhaps interviewing people that are entrepreneurs. So researching is expanding your choices, and resolve is taking actions before you're ready. Not that you want to be reckless, but you want to be courageous and brave and clear. So taking, an action, whether it be going to a networking event or sending out your resume, whatever, it's going to help you feel like you're making traction and taking action. So the 3 R's are the fourth key. So as you look at your next career chapter and career mastery, you want to think about what strategy you want to follow. And some of you may want to explore all of these, and some of you may want to just pick one, but it's really hard to do all these things at the same time. So even if you're exploring all of them, I would say focus on one for a week. The first one is focus on a job search. Maybe perhaps you're not entrepreneurial and you don't like freelance work. You want to be with a team. You want to be in a structure. You like corporate environments. That's great. And just make sure that you're focusing on job fit and culture fit. So understanding yourself and what kind of environment you're going to be a part of is important. We have some resources at brightlivelihoods.com that might help you with that. There's some websites, including Glassdoor, that talks about culture fit. So think about that, focusing on your job search on culture fit. Maybe you do want to be an entrepreneur and start your own business. You have an idea you've been mulling around for a long time. So think about becoming your own boss. It might be joining a meetup of entrepreneurs and meeting other people that are doing that. It might be going to a startup weekend, which is a phenomenon in many cities around the country that helps people start businesses in a weekend. Lots of things you could do to explore that, but focus on that and take that dream seriously. The third strategy is choosing several income streams at once. So several of my clients have taught me about this. You may be good at juggling a lot of balls in the air. So having more than one income stream, perhaps you work part-time, freelance, maybe you have an Etsy store if you love to create things. Think about how you can expand your revenue and expand yourself into different areas at the same time. That's a portfolio career. And then the last option is not necessarily getting to the job search yet, but focusing really, really on what your soul work is. Spending time now on defining that and researching how you can be successful with that. And while you're employed, putting efforts into preparing for the next phase. So that's a strategic serial career. So choose one of those to think about for yourself, and that will be part of your 7-day plan. So you want to choose one key. So we talked about defining your soul work. We talked about emotional and economical balance. We talked about reducing career anxiety and practicing the 3 R's. So choose one of those to focus on for your next 7 days. And then focus on one of these things: your job search, becoming your own boss, perhaps having more than one income stream and juggling several things at once. Some people are really good at that. Or just focusing on your dream by preparing yourself for your next career while you're employed. And that's a strategic serial career. So that's your plan for the next 7 days. You also might want to consider joining us for our next class. It starts on May 6th. We have really great, a great program outlined. It's very affordable, our most affordable program yet. It's 8 weeks. You get a social network. You get live classes. We have 2 coaches, myself and my colleague Daryl Brown, teaching, and it's only $495. And you can go to our website, brightlivelihoods.com, and sign up for that. Right, it's on the About page. It's on other pages too. It's really easy to sign up, and all of the classes are recorded in case you can't make every class. You can do it on your own time. I'll take some questions now. So someone is asking, what if you don't know what your passions are? What do you do first? That's a great question. Sometimes we are fatigued with our work in our life, and it's really hard to tap into passions. So I would start with things that you might have enjoyed in the past that you've let go of. Like several years ago, I started playing tennis again after giving it up from the time I was, I think, 16. Gave it up for 40 years and started again, and I really enjoyed it. So maybe thinking about things you've enjoyed in the past that you might be denying yourself of. And another thing you can do is something we call a passion hunt. So you can choose one thing. If you like shopping, go shopping and see what intrigues you, what gadgets, what stores, what brands. If you like the internet, give yourself a day to be internet surfing and looking for things that intrigue you. If you like TV, spend a day or half a day channel surfing. If you like bookstores, go to the bookstore and wander around. Look at the magazines, look at the different sections, and see if that stimulates new passions for you. One of those things probably will. Someone is asking for more information about the class. So the class is 8 weeks long, and it delves deeply into that 12-part model we call the Path of Bright Livelihoods. We have an introductory class for an hour. Then we spend time 2 principles a week, and you get a workbook, so you get to do a lot of the work on your own, and then we process it as a group. There's a social network where you can ask questions to the coach and to your classmates anytime, 24 hours a day. And we meet once a week, every Wednesday starting May 6th for 8 weeks. By the end of the class, you'll be very clear about what your soul work is, what your purpose is, and most importantly, what your plan is for the future. You get lots of support, and it's a great way to accelerate your process. I hope I see you there, and thank you so much for spending time with me today. Please feel free to email me or call me if you have any questions or you want to send up a half-hour session with me. We do that complimentary. And I'm also doing an event in Austin on April 29th, so if you're in Austin, Texas, look at our website and come meet me in person. I'd love to see you then. Be well. Bye-bye.